I think I'm confident enough to say that spelling bees have been a huge part of my life. As a certified nerd from 3rd to 8th grade, I was competing in these stupid spelling bees for years. And for those 6 years, I actually had a constant winning streak in my school-wide bees. Well, except for 4th grade. We don't really talk about 4th grade. If you're watching this, you may be competing in a spelling bee of your own. Or not, maybe you're just subscribed for the wacky content, but don't click off. You might learn a few interesting and useful things from this. Before you get too anxious, let me be the first to say that spelling bees are not too bad. Believe me, anxiety has been a double-edged sword for me before and during these competitions. Anxiety can be a useful tool and motivator for studying, but at the same time, can come back to bite you during the actual competition. Though it's easier said than done, try not to get the nerves get to you too much during and even before the competition. That is absolute key. A cool and clear mind will get you through much of the competition, and I think that applies to absolutely anything in life. Breathe in, breathe out, and trust your instincts. Drink plenty of water, just not too much. Or else it'd be a spelling P, am I right? Now, let's start off and go to studying. Studying is probably the most important aspect when coming into these competitions. Memorizing the words is definitely a challenge, and hands down, the best way to study these words is through vocabulary.com. They don't sponsor me. Basically, this website has a built-in spelling bee feature that gives you the words through audio along with their definitions. You could work with any word you want, and let me say that this website is definitely the reason why I got as far into the spelling bee as I did. Now, it does have a few limitations. It won't give you the origin of the word during those bees, and some words aren't even supported by the website, but you could definitely study any unsupported words on your own. Unless you want to manually type everything, you do have to copy and paste the spelling bee words into the website, though you can find digital copies of your list through a quick Google search. Also, lists do have a maximum amount of 500, so I suggest making separate lists for each grade level or language. Speaking of languages, perhaps the greatest strength you could have at a spelling bee is knowledge of word origins. If you're absolutely dedicated and going to higher level bees like state or nationals, let me be the first to tell you that you will not have the time nor brain power to memorize every single word in the Merriam-Webster dictionary. But studying how each origin determines the structure of spelling words will give you a great advantage and eliminate the need to do that, though this does take some time and definite dedication. Usually the final rounds of spelling bees involve going off list to eliminate more spellers, and getting a word you don't know is definitely daunting. But you're given the option to ask for the word origin, and through knowing how the origin shapes each letter and sound in the word, you could possibly spell anything unknown. It's a complicated process, but studying word origins is what got many top spellers to where they are today. Now, how would you go about competing in the actual bee itself? Well, to go over this, I want to tell you a little story. It was the 8th grade, and I was competing in the regional bee. The year before, I had actually made it to the state bee, so my intention for this year was to make it to nationals this time. I believe it's around round 4 or so, and the pronouncer gives me this word, mogul. Now, you're probably thinking, that's an easy word, you totally got that one, right? Right. Nope, I misspelled it and made a fool out of myself, essentially ending my spelling bee career. Here's the thing, I had a teacher with the name Mogul as well, but instead of being spelled M-O-G-U-L, their name was spelled M-O-G-E-L. I had been emailing them a bit over student council business recently, so my brain sort of mixed both of them up. So yeah, that stupid mix-up costed me my chances. Now, why am I telling you this? I think there are 3 key things to remember when you're going up on stage to spell that I sort of messed up in that moment. First of all, as I said before, it is key to stay calm. It's very common to mess up something due to nerves, and that is something you do not want to do. Though it's complicated and easier said than done, try to avoid self-doubt and not to overthink while spelling. Secondly, take your time. Utilize methods like spelling the word on the palm of your hand, spell the word in your head before you say it out loud, and see if spellings make sense in context with the origin. Those are some methods I believe I avoided because I spelled the word quickly the moment I had self-doubt and just wanted to get it over with. I believe you have around a 2-minute time limit and a warning before it's up, and that's more than enough time to spell one word. Finally, be sure to ask questions. Not only do they give you important information like the origin and even an alternate pronunciation that could help, but again, buys reasonable time to spell a word. Now, spelling bees are not perfect. I once had a regional pronouncer who seemed absolutely clueless, and I remember it very clearly. The pronouncer gave the word gordita, and the speller asked for an alternate pronunciation. What the pronouncer does next is she calls a member from the audience to give the alternate pronunciation for her because she didn't know how to pronounce the alternative. It was pretty ridiculous. Another pronouncer from another bee outright mispronounced a few words, costing a speller their spot for a bit. Remember that you can make appeals, but only do it if you absolutely know that you're in the right. Thanks for watching. If you don't even do spelling bees, I hope you took away a few interesting things. Vocabulary.com is in the description, so be sure to check that out. If you're heck bent and very dedicated and wanting to climb your way up to the national stage, well, get ready to give up a social life. Bye.
The wheels on the bus go round and round, round and round, round and round. The wheels on the bus go round and round.